What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Eric Wilson. The trade deadline is right around the corner, and the Rangers have been involved in a lot of trade rumors, primarily for Patrick Kane. It seems like they might just have a deal in place to pull off the blockbuster trade that Eric has been dreaming of for the last 5 years, and it might just happen in the next few days, but what if it doesn't? Well, a recent injury to Ryan Lindgren, maybe the Rangers might want to pivot, trade for a defenseman like Jakob Chychrun, who is pretty heating up. He's heating up quite a lot in trade rumors right now. He's got a pretty expansive trade market. Maybe the Rangers might want to pivot and get involved in that. We're going to go ahead and discuss that today on Fireside Rangers. Make sure to leave a like if you do enjoy this discussion and subscribe to the channel if you're new. But without further ado, Eric, how are you doing today? And what are your thoughts on a potential trade for Jakob Chychrun?
I'm doing good. The last couple of days have been extremely confusing, just like following Twitter, looking at all the rumors and stuff. And it's looking like 95, like 99% chance that the Rangers are going to get Patrick Kane on Wednesday as soon as we get the salary cap from Jakob Chychrun right there. But then now you just like a couple things are happening. Ryan Lindgren injured. Gerard Gallant says it's day to day, but who knows? He's been wrong in the past about that before. Keandre Miller most likely to be suspended for a couple of games now after selfishly spitting on Drew Doughty. So like this is kind of just like a speculatory thing, like you said, most likely going to be Patrick Kane. But what if we are in need of a defenseman? So let's just get on into it.
Yeah, I mean, Keandre Miller has put us in need of a defenseman, of course, with Lindgren injured, and now Keandre Miller likely being suspended. What we're seeing is 3 games. Really tough loss there. A selfish moment, like you mentioned. Really stupid moment by Keandre Miller there to spit on a player and get himself suspended. So now the Rangers are in a really tricky situation where they can't play Braden Schneider or Ryan Carpenter for cap reasons if they want to pull off the deal for Patrick Kane. So they're going to go shorthanded into pretty much every game until they make the Kane trade, unless they trade for a defenseman and just let go of the Kane trade. Eric, before we really dive into this whole discussion, though, why do you think that the Rangers would want to make this move for a defenseman and forego the opportunity to trade for Patrick Kane?
I mean, you just look at our defensive lines. We have like our top 2 guys, Lindgren and Fox. Lindgren probably will be back soon. He'll definitely be back by the playoffs. Then you got Miller and Trouba. They're here to stay. Braden Schneider, as soon as this whole salary cap thing is done, is going to be back playing defense again. And then there's just kind of like Nico Mikkola, and obviously a part of the Tarasenko trade that went down a couple weeks ago. But he hasn't looked that good. We had guys like Ben Harper who were playing there that we were like, we kind of need to improve this a little bit. So we went and got Mikkola. And although there was a slight improvement, I feel like he's still not really playoff worthy. If we're going to build this super team that we keep talking about, I don't think Mikkola cuts it. So just looking at like the lack of defensemen that we have right now, having to like literally last game against LA, having to use 4 defensemen for like pretty much almost the entire game. And then going into the next game, maybe the next couple of games, having to use 5, you might as well just like consider trying to boost your defense right there. They always say like defense wins championships, and unless that core is like really solid, which we know has had its problems as of late, I don't know how far we're going to make it in the playoffs, especially when you consider all the other trades that are going down across the league. The Devils got Timo Meier, who've already been like extremely good offensively, and they went out and got who was, besides Kane, arguably like one of the better offensive people out there on the trade block this year. And, you got other teams like the Capitals, like the Penguins, who are also all in on Jakob Chychrun right there. So everyone who's like playing around us in our like division right here is making these moves. They're like not holding back at all. So the Rangers need to do something. I prefer if it's Kane, but if Kane for some reason falls through and we don't make any moves, we are not going to go far in the playoffs. So the Rangers do need to consider other options while we work through this really confusing salary cap situation.
Yeah, it seems like Drury has it under control, and he's going to be able to find the way to get Kane under the salary cap. But theoretically speaking, trading for Jakob Chychrun is probably a lot easier. 4.6 million AAV ends in 2024 to 2025, so this would be a long-term solution as well. Patrick Kane just being a 1-year rental, you swing for the cup, and if you miss, okay, then you're shit out of luck. But with Jakob Chychrun, at least you have him for the next few years. So I do think it's something that's worth considering, especially considering that mad hit that Ryan Lindgren suffered. He's day-to-day with an injury, and the Rangers, as you mentioned, the depth on the defensive lines is very, very thin right now, especially with Keandre Miller being injured. Chychrun, 36 games played this season, 7 goals, 21 assists, 28 total points. Eric, what do you think that he would bring to the team, and why would you maybe think that the Rangers would want to go with him over Kane in a scenario?
I mean, Jakob Chychrun out there is probably one of the better offensive defensemen in the league. And, we have a couple of those already, like Keandre Miller, Adam Fox. They're pretty good offensive guys. But then, like, just as I mentioned earlier, there's just like a little bit lack of depth right now. Mikkola not really cutting it. You got other players like in the defense who just sometimes don't look as good as they should, like Jacob Trouba. So just it's depth right there, like as I just mentioned before, defense wins championships. And the last couple of games, we've seen the Rangers defense not look too good. We were making dumb plays. The other teams are scoring like way more goals than we were recently. So that's the upside for it. I still think that Patrick Kane should be the number one concern right now, though. I think that Drury can and will pull it off. I mean, like we've seen on like Forever Blue Shirts and other reporters saying like the deal is in place. You just got to wait until the Rangers get the cap to just like really make it official. But should the Rangers go for Jakob Chychrun? It's like, yeah, but no. It's like keep Patrick Kane as the number one priority, but then just keep Chychrun in the back of your mind. It'll be a little bit harder to get Chychrun, in my opinion, just because of the amount of teams that are interested in him right there. The Coyotes would really like run the price right there. As for a Patrick Kane trade where Patrick Kane says, I only want to go to the Rangers, he gets to move his no trade clause right there. So the Rangers can really just like make any offer that we want. We've always talked about how expensive it's going to be to get Patrick Kane. At the end of the day, when the deal goes down, I don't think we're going to be giving up as much as we've like previously speculated, just because like the Rangers and Patrick Kane are running the show right there, going for Jakob Chychrun. They're going to take every deal that they have offered to them and just choose their best one. So it might be a little bit too expensive to go for him, especially when we have Patrick Kane already on the table right there. So there are benefits to getting him, but overall, I think the better option would be to just stick to plan A, go for Patrick Kane.
I think that I completely agree with you, but I do think it is worth noting that the Rangers need to have some sort of a backup plan, because I agree with you in the sense that if the Rangers don't make another trade, don't land another big time splash blockbuster player, I don't think they make it that far in the postseason. Now, I think that, trading for Tarasenko was huge. Big first step towards getting this roster in shape for the postseason, but they're still missing a couple pieces, and maybe they just need that one more big splash, either being Chychrun or Kane, and that can be enough to push them and hopefully get them to the Stanley Cup Finals. But again, the Rangers have a lot of salary cap games to play to make any sort of trade right now. And when you're looking at it, they just traded Vitaly Kravtsov. They let go of Lashishin. They waived him. And now they have to go through these next few games with Braden Schneider and Ryan Carpenter on the bench. Eric, what are your thoughts on those two players not being brought into the lineups? And do you think that the Rangers can keep their winning ways afloat with these players not being able to play in the lineup for salary cap reasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll be okay. Obviously, Keandre Miller is one of our better defensemen, so it's like really just frustrating that he had to do what he did and just spit on Drew Doughty, because like he's a contributor. He scores a lot of points. He's very good on the power play, and it's going to be a little tough without him right there running with five defensemen. Especially that just means that like Nico Mikkola is going to be playing more than like anyone else right now, but. Carpenter, obviously, it's like he doesn't contribute much, but at the same time, you're going to have to run with 11 forwards now. So you got like other guys playing more ice time than they usually would get. So we're going to be a little more tired than usual, but I'm confident in the team. We talk about all the problems that we have, the holes that we need to fix at this trade deadline, but overall, we still do have a solid team. And I'm confident that it's probably going to only be like this for like 2-3 games. Despite like the rest of our division continuing to win, we still do have like a pretty hefty like hold on that third divisional spot right there. The Devils are taking like away a little bit on second place, but the gap between us and third and the Islanders in the fourth place spot, it's pretty big. So in the next 2 to 3 games, even if we lose like one or two of them, I don't think it's like that drastic.
Another thing that I want to talk about before we wrap up is you just mentioned Rangers have that third spot right now in the Metro, but number 2, New Jersey is really making a push for the first seed, and they just pulled off a big-time trade for Timo Meier, a player that we talked about weeks ago, maybe even months ago, for the Rangers to potentially target in a trade opportunity. Now Meier going to New Jersey. What are your thoughts on that, Eric, and what does that do for the Metro division?
I mean, it does a lot because our division is already so good. There's not many bad teams here. Out of the 8 teams, like 5 of them are very, very good teams. And the Devils, like making a push for the first place spot, I kind of hope they don't. But I would rather play New Jersey than Carolina. Just like even with Timo Meier, I feel like the Devils team is just like so young, and like doesn't have that much experience with the playoffs because they haven't made it in a very long time. Then you also just add in the fact that the Rangers have like went on a huge run last year and then have added more players that have won Stanley Cups before. I think despite the standings being in favor of New Jersey, the Rangers would have a really good shot at beating New Jersey. And I think Carolina, I would rather just face later on, push that off for as long as possible.
I think that's definitely what the Rangers are hoping to see. And hopefully the Rangers will have another star in their lineup when we get to the postseason, either being Patrick Kane or Jakob Chychrun. Again, I think that it's far more likely the Rangers land Kane, and I do think it's going to happen in the coming days, and we're super excited for that. And if any trade does break, we will be updating you right here on Fireside Rangers. So make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed this episode, and comment your thoughts down below. We'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Rangers.